Please proceed to the Plenary Hall, Kiev, for the closing ceremony. Please proceed to the Plenary Hall, Kiev, for the closing ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please take your seats because we are starting the closing ceremony. My name is Katja Theise and I'm honored to be with you during this part of the event, the last part, but not the least. After 2 busy days of the conference, active exchange of experience, it's time to summarize the results of the URC-2024 and also take a look to the future. During this day, I was talking to different participants from Ukraine, asking them with what feeling they are going back home. And the answers were actually pretty simple, pretty similar. But I would like to cite one woman from the Sumy region. She's living in a destroyed community next to the border with Russia. She said, revived hope. 2 words, but quite strong. She will go back home and bring to her destroyed community revived hope. And right now, I would like to invite to the stage for the final solemn ceremony the next people who are very important because they did a lot that this conference was so successful and gave hope to people from Ukraine. Please welcome here on the stage Yuliiya Svyrydenko, first Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine and Minister of Economy. Please come here. Please take place here. Dr. Thomas Baga, State Secretary of the German Federal Foreign Office. Jochen Flasbarth, State Secretary in the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And Edmondo Cirielli, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Thank you very much. Take place here. Madam Svyrydenko, take the floor. It's your turn. Please go to the microphone here. We have special place. I can move that way. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let's support Madam Svyrydenko with your applause.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank you, German government, German people, for supporting Ukraine and for arranging this conference and for your enormous support. We're really grateful, all of our country and all participants. Thank you once again. War changed everything, even the name of this conference. If there were no full-scale, something happened with this.
Well, it's quite surprising. I hope that this technical problem will be solved now. But if it's problematic, actually, we can also proceed here.
Okay, I will proceed.
We are in a democratic country, and I think all the processes can be democratic as well. Let's make it simple.
Thank you. So, as I start, war changed everything. Change the name of this conference. If there are no war in the country, so this conference might be named like Ukraine Reforms Conference. But 2 days ago, the Conference on Reforms in Ghana was renamed to the Conference on Recovery. And this was kind of manifestation of our shared belief, Ukraine and our partners, and enthusiasm that we will survive, that we will keep fighting and we will keep going. And on these 2 days, I have been convinced that there are a very concrete example that neither Ukraine, neither our partners don't plan to give up. For us, and it's an existential war, and for you, it's a value-based choice. And the fact that it's choice to stand with Ukraine makes your support invaluable. Thank you for that. Thank you to your support. We are finishing URC with inspiring results. More than 100 agreements have been signed. And these agreements will strengthen our private sector, it will strengthen energy, it will strengthen human capital and other cities and communities. And of course, it would facilitate the comprehensive change in Ukrainian society, and the dimension that have been chosen during this conference, this fourth dimension, it's also an important side of how actively the Ukraine Recovery Conference is developing. And if in Lugano we talked how to stand firm with a focus on defense, on our resilience on the battlefield, in London we've been focused on how to involve private sector. Here in Berlin, our agenda is even broader. So today, this forum includes representative of local authority, of NGOs. So I saw a representative of our veteran organization. Yesterday, most of our speeches focus on key areas where Ukraine needs assistance. And I'm very pleased and delighted to emphasize that we do have very concrete, pragmatic deliveries from this conference. In energy, you know that we lost our 50% of our capacity, and during the URC, there have been signed several memorandums on renewables, on delivering gas turbines, on delivering the gas piston system. And we welcome US government that announced additional $500 million support in energy sector. But this is not enough. Russia continues to destroy our cities, and now we have assurance that Ukraine will receive protection for our skies, and we are grateful to German government to provide us Patriot, IRIS-T and Gepard system, missiles and artillery ammunition. For us, it's an opportunity to survive. It's an opportunity to defend our people, to defend our cities, and to defend our economy. Thank you for that. And yesterday we invited companies to invest in Ukraine, saying that war is not an embargo on investment. And we emphasize that it's crucial for us to have cooperation in defense and industry. And we are delighted to announce that Ukrbоронпром and Rheinmetall opened the first joint repair and production facility. And the next step is repair of Leopard family tanks in Ukraine and localization of Lynx. So we expect to localize at least one by the end of this year. So thank you for that. And need to applause, because of defense, we really need. And thank you, of course, for the business support program. Yesterday we signed, along the Ukraine investment framework, 1.4 billion agreements. It's top up of the current investment projects. Also, we launched SME Alliance with over 31 international partners to support the development of small and medium enterprises. Also, during these days, we saw the plenty of signing of agreements between business to business. I know that total over 650 million euro. And last but not the least, insurance from DFC will now be available not only for investors, a big one, but also for small and medium-sized businesses, innovative reinsurance facility. And today we signed the memorandum for 50 million for this purpose. Yesterday we discussed that 57% of Ukrainian business are facing the problem with labor and shortage of and facing the deficit of staff. So today we announced about the Skills Alliance that united over 50 international partners and amounting 700 million euros. So this program will be aimed to retrain, to give the additional skill up to Ukrainian people, to Ukrainian specialists, to women, to young people. And we launched this program, and we're really grateful to our partner for this. Of course, one of the most, I would say, for me, very important item is the mining. We've got additional pledge for the mining activity, so to speed up this process and to return to productive use our land and to save people's lives. So Ukrainian resilience, it's not something abstract, it's not an abstract term, it's a measurable thing. Its level is determined by the number of air defense systems. This resilience is determined by the humanitarian aid, by economic support, by investors and investment for business development that flow to our country, and the number of citizens returning to Ukraine. So our resilience is built on your support. United in recovery, united in defense. Thank you for this conference.
Thank you very much for your inspiring words. And I would like to invite to the microphone Mr. Bagger. I don't know whether we'll try. Yeah, we'll give it a try.
I'll try again. So dear First Deputy Prime Minister Svyrydenko, dear Deputy Minister Cirielli, dear Jochen, Flasbarth, ladies and gentlemen, it's done. The URC-2024 is coming to a close, and what an extraordinary past 2 days these have been. Together with Ukraine, Germany is proud to have co-hosted this mega event. More than 3,400 registered participants, more than 60 official delegations. We brought together more people for the support of Ukraine than any other conference so far. And we're particularly proud of the broad participation of the private sector, civil society, and the regional and communal level. And from the feedback I've heard so far, that has been, in short, a great success. So thank you all for coming. The motto that the Deputy Prime Minister just mentioned, united in defense, united in recovery, stronger together, that motto stands for the two aspects that are intrinsically linked for all of us: defending Ukraine militarily and rebuilding it in a joint civilian recovery effort. And this URC was a key opportunity for the international community to underline its unwavering support for Ukraine's defense, its immediate recovery, and the long-term reconstruction process. And the fact that the defense sector took part in this conference, just as civil society, just as Ukrainian and German mayors and many others and international organizations, proved this point. We heard President Zelensky here at the conference, but also in the Bundestag yesterday, in an impressive speech in which he used the analogy of the Berlin Wall and the fact that nobody saw it coming, saw its fall coming, even a few days before it happened. He said that a divided Europe cannot be peaceful and that a divided Germany could never be at ease, and that the same is true for Ukraine. The Russian aggression must be pushed back. Ukraine will then end the war on its own conditions. We all know that this is an extremely busy week for Ukraine, not just for its president, but for the political effort that we're all supporting. After the URC, President Zelensky is now traveling, but he will be at the G7 summit that starts tomorrow. Ukraine will then be at the very center of the political debate in Bürgenstock in Switzerland for the Ukraine Peace Summit on Saturday and Sunday. And we all know that the NATO summit in Washington, D.C. will follow in early July with key decisions when it comes to future military support of Ukraine. We look at the URC as a major building block in the endeavor to put Ukraine on top of the foreign policy agenda this summer. But I like to believe that this was more than just another conference, that it was really a breakthrough in bringing together Ukraine support in politics, business, civil society, on the local, regional, and international level, and that there was a true exchange between these different spheres. I think, Jochen, you can say more about that, but that is what we had in mind, what we tried to push for in the organization of this effort, and I think that has worked very well. So let me just finally, for all those who need a number, one number, to put on such a conference, say we have an estimated sum of deliverables that adds up to 16 billion euros. That is something to be proud of. And then let me take this opportunity up here from the stage to thank at least a few of those who made this conference possible. Our Ukrainian partners, especially our colleagues Alexander Bankov and Vladimir Kuzio and their teams with whom we did the preparation effort. The task forces in the various German federal ministries, the BMZ, the Federal Foreign Office and others. The tireless protocol division of my ministry, who has done a tremendous job in this, to turn this location into a great conference venue for this and have a seamless process. But also the countless helpers who made this huge effort possible, the police and security forces, who fitted into their busy schedule just before the Euro-24, which is about to start later this week, and which will keep them busy as well, and the citizens of Berlin who had to endure closed roads, railway stations, and limited S-Bahn service. My wife has already complained to me, but I think it was worth all the inconvenience. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the URC-2024 was able to point the way forward, give a positive perspective for a free, resilient and democratic Ukraine, firmly embedded in Europe, and it is upon us all to continue in this effort as tirelessly as the Ukrainian people itself demonstrate. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. State Secretary, Mr. Flasbarth, you are welcome.
So this podium has been tested by the Foreign Office now, so it should be safe. Dear colleagues, friends, this is how I look like when I'm happy. And obviously, we, Thomas, our teams, and also including Yuliiya, your team, obviously we are a bit biased when it comes to the assessment of this conference. But I heard a lot during the last 2 days and also in the final phase of this URC, and everybody was so positive. And I think that reflects the momentum we created here in Berlin. And Alexei, if I may quote you, you told me that you are making a joke at the embassy, that this is a very successful success. So I think that is also what I heard from all of you. I think we followed here at co-host Yuliiya, Thomas, our teams. During the last year, we followed the concept of whole of society reconstruction approach that focuses on, of course, continuously the dimension of economies. And that has been already done in Lugano and later on in London, but we added also to that the human resources and social dimension, the local and regional dimension, and of course also the accession process, which is the big difference obviously between the last URC and this URC. Now Ukraine is a candidate for the EU as a member state. And of course, this is linked to the reform agenda, not only following the accession process and the approach to the acquis, but also the requirements from other partners than the EU with regard to necessary reforms. Allow me also, as a German representative at the steering committee of the multi-donor platform, together with my good friend Davide from Italy, we were extremely happy that we got also during the process since London to hear guidance from the steering committee, that we tried to get as much interlinkages between the multi-donor platform and here the URC in Berlin. And one visible and very visible indicator for that is that we had the first meeting of the Business Advisory Council here in Berlin, something that can be very valuable for the further reconstruction and recovery work, to get advice from practitioners who know what they are talking about on the ground. Also, the insightful views of representatives from local communities and from civil society enriched this conference, and this will also influence the future process of reconstruction and recovery and partnering, Yuliiya, with your partners around the world. We saw business-to-business collaboration, we saw municipality-to-municipality collaboration, and also other actors were in a very vital exchange. I think the Recovery Forum was a perfect place for these interlinkages. We got an upgrade of the Business Development Fund. We created alliances like the SME, you mentioned, Yuliiya, the Skill Alliance, the Alliance of Municipalities, and the Women Alliance. And all this created additional momentum for a sustainable growth and pathway for the Ukraine. And again, that was not only a success by the teams in Ukraine and in Germany, it was a success of all of you sitting here in the room. A huge thank you.
Thank you very much. And please, Edmondo Cirielli, it's your turn.
Good evening. It's an honor and also an emotion to stay with you, dear Yuliiya, dear Thomas, dear Jochen, dear Nasrat, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Republic of Italy, I wish to praise your efforts for organizing this conference and thank you for inviting me on this stage. We are aware that gathering all the relevant players to this venue must have been challenging. You serve as an inspiration for us. As Italy will be taking up this formidable responsibility next year, Italy stands firmly with Ukraine, with an increasing emphasis on recovery and reconstruction. We have taken part of this conference in Berlin along with an important institutional and business delegation. Our focus was firstly on energy resilience, recovery assistance, and the preservation of Ukraine's cultural heritage. Ukraine's full recovery and reconstruction stands among the top priorities also for Italy's development cooperation that I lead as Deputy Minister in charge of this portfolio. Indeed, on my initiative, last year we worked hard to open and operationalize as swift as possible an office of Italian Development Cooperation Agency in Kiev. Last year, we mobilized 72 million euros in grants for emergency interventions and development initiatives in Ukraine. We also allocated the loans for 100 million euros in support of Ukraine's energy sector in the form of Italian direct contribution to the Ukraine state company in partnership with the European Union. A significant fresh pledge for this year, 140 million euro, was announced yesterday by Deputy Prime Minister Tajani. Let me conclude with a look at the near future. As for the conference 2025 in Italy, we are still considering possible themes, but we will primarily follow the steps of our German colleagues. We will continue to build on the following key dimensions. One, the reforms need to join the EU because the two processes of reconstruction and integration are closely linked. Two, the human dimensions, because we have to build a social fabric if we are to bring people back home and get the country's economy moving again. Three, the local authorities, because reconstruction must start at the local level. Four, of course, the private sector, because it's clear that without it, without you, we will not be able to rebuild the country. The private sector, the Italian private sector, has shown that it understands that reconstruction is a great strategic game for our country and for the whole continent. Furthermore, we are going to focus on issues such as energy security and energy transition, sustainable infrastructure, financial stability, and sustainable development. Thank you very much for your kind attention and your commitment, and see you in Italy next year.
Thank you very much. Please come here, take place here. Actually, this is almost the last moment of this conference, very, very special moment. Please take place here. Yes. Madam Svyrydenko, please come here. Come here. Here.
I'm afraid to stand
No.
over there.
No, no, no. Don't be afraid. Please come here. Yeah. Mr. Bagger, please come here. So, and we are almost ready. But for this last moment of the conference, I would like to invite another one person to the stage for the closing ceremony and to make handover really complete from the current co-chair of Germany to the next year's co-chair Italy. We also need, I think, the last year's co-chair, which is UK. So I'm honored to invite on the stage Nusrat Khani, Minister of State, Minister for Europe at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom. Sorry. So, like that. Now, yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. So, I'll take the mic. I think this would be a very special moment if we'll say the ceremony is closed and then shake hands. Please.
So, let me start by thanking you. Good to have the UK Minister here as well, because Minister Edmondo, we enjoyed a lot the support from UK when we took over the gavel from UK to Germany to organize this conference following London, and it's my real pleasure that we now will hand over the gavel to you. And I can assure you, also on behalf of Thomas, if I may say so, that you will get the full support from Germany. All what we learned, all about the successes, all what also not happened, where things could have been done better, everything will be shared with you to make the next URC in Italy an equal success. Let me finally say, I'm extremely happy. We heard the number from my colleague Thomas Bagger about the amount that was raised here, organized here for the support of Ukraine. And it's enormous. It's really enormous. But I'm really happy that we did not talk only about financing and money. At the end, it was bringing together people, creating ideas, strategizing, networking, and rethinking everything newly in a way that the recovery of Ukraine will be successful. And at the end, dear colleagues, especially Yuliiya, the most relevant currency for the recovery of Ukraine and the success against the aggression from Russia is friendship. It's not euros, it's not dollars, it's friendship. And by the way, a currency Putin does not have. He might have tactical allies, but not friends, as you have here all around. And with this, I hand over the gavel to Italy, and the final words go to Thomas to conclude the conference. Thanks a lot.
Nothing more to add, except that on your plate will also be all the expectations of Ukraine. Good luck with that. So thank you all for coming, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
And now we can make a great photo. And for this very moment, I would like to invite you here. We will get some space now. Please.
It was important in our process. It's important in our process.
Ukraine Recovery Conference, June 2024. Very symbolic picture, very nice for the last photo of this event. Thank you very much for your attention and have a nice journey home.